You're watching Pyro Media Network. Hello, Pyro Media family. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
What is going on, Unusual Mavericks and Pyromaniacs? We are back with another episode of the Unusual Mavericks. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Sorry for the delay. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end. This is not Dominic's fault. It is me. Blame the light skin. But shout out to everybody. I'm your host, Kwame, joined by the handsome, the bearded one, the GCMA nominated, Just Dominic. What is up, King?
Hey, everybody. It is so good to be back. Good to see you again, Kwame, of course.
Yes.
And sorry we're late, but we are here.
Yes.
And we are ready to spill a lot of tea.
We got a lot to talk about. A lot.
Hold
on. I have stuff over here, loud over here. Okay, there we go. I want to make sure we're good on this end. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. We what isn't there to talk about? But today we're going to be talking about who is John Stewart. We've been talking about a lot of different characters. You guys remember the series that Just Dominic did before, where we kind of talked about our influencers and or different influencers within the community. Specifically, hey, Michaela, what's up, Queen? How you doing? Thanks for joining us, sweetie. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on through. Y'all make sure you guys hit that like button, share, and subscribe on the way in. It does help the algorithm. But we talked about a lot of the influencers, major influencers within the Blerd community, impactful people that helped bring about a lot of inclusion, a lot of representation to the comic world. And this time, Dominic has came up with Black characters that we have not really known about, and or if we do, we don't know the full history of them. So we're getting to kind of deep dive into origin stories of some of these amazing characters and impactful characters that I agree that we both grew up on. And we talked about like Storm last week, aka Aurora Monroe. And also we talked about before. Who was before Aurora? Oh, we talked about Calvin Ellis, and he was the Black Superman in Earth 32?
23.
I had it backwards. It's fine.
But yes,
today we're going to be talking
the
about
the subject of the new Superman film, too.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Film.
Exactly. And so today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite comic book heroes, especially on the DC side, John Stewart. Last week we talked about my absolute... I'm sorry?
Oh, I said and crushes.
You don't got to be telling my business out like that, okay? Just because I have a comic book crush, it's nobody's business, all right? But look at him. Look at the chocolate that's on him. Anywho, let's get into one of y'all favorite times of the show, the Maverick Alert. Shall we, sir?
Yes, we shall.
Whew, we got a lot to talk about. Let me pull up my little script here, okay? First and foremost, you guys, we talked about Hal Jordan. We talked about the Green Lantern, but the Green Lantern, there's two major ones: Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Obviously, Hal Jordan is the most notable one, or most known one, not notable, but most known one, because he is you need a mop. I do not need a mop, okay? And you might need a mop. You might need a mop, Michaela, when you see him later on in the show. Right? Anyway, y'all are so funny. But is this for the live action, or is this for? Yeah, this is for the live action, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the debate that's going on online right now.
Correct. And so Hal Jordan is the I guess the white Green Lantern, but he was one of the Green Lanterns of for Earth, Guardian of Earth. And he's the most one of the originals. And so he was one of the ones that is most famous because like he was the first one that came out. But John Stewart came out behind him, and John Stewart is the Black Green Lantern. Well, he's a Green Lantern, but he's black. But so he took on the mantle of the Guardian of for Earth. And John Stewart, in my personal opinion, is the best Green Lantern out there, only because he's smarter, he's stronger, his constructs are stronger, but that's a whole other conversation. But according to ScreenRant.com, there are 7 actors who could play Hal Jordan in the DCU. The role of Hal Jordan requires a standard leading man type with an extra degree of charm and humor. So this is the Hal Jordan via comics, right? Let me go ahead and make sure we enlarge this here so you guys can see. Yeah, this is the Hal Jordan from the comics, okay? This is the most notable one out there. But this is John Hamm. And for those who may not know, he's played in a couple, I don't even remember what he's played in. But, you know, the people who are going to be, you'll know the black ones. I don't know too much about John Hamm. I've seen him around. But I don't see him as from what I know and what I've experienced from Hal Jordan, I don't see him as a Hal Jordan. In my personal opinion.
Well, we've seen him in those commercials.
Mm-hmm.
He's been actually pretty funny in those commercials, so I can see how his humor, how he plays that type of a guy would work out. I don't know if he's too old or not, but I wouldn't mind.
Okay. Next up is Carl Urban. Now, Carl Urban, some of you may remember him from the not the Boondock, the Saints. No, was it the Boondock Saints?
The Boys.
The Boys. But he was also in I believe he was also in not the Boondock Saints. The Boondock Saints. Yeah, because the Boondocks were it's the black the cartoon, the animated show. But he was also in. Was he in the Boondocks, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else? I think I'm thinking of somebody else. I thought he was in the Boondocks, the Boondock Saints, rather.
I don't know him from anything but the Boys.
Yeah, he was in the Boys. He was in a lot of different ways. He was in Mortal Kombat 2. He was in Thor Ragnarok. He was in I think he was in the original Thor too. But he was in a lot of different things. So the Born at Star Trek. He was in Star Trek. The original, well, not the original Star Trek, but the first one with the Calvin series. The one that we don't really care about. He was in Xena, all that stuff, whatever. So he was good. I can see him as Hal Jordan if they make him blonde. Next up is who is this guy? This is Nathan Fillion, but he's already cast as Guy Gardner, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, no, that he was just on the list.
Okay,
now, of course, James Gunn threw a wrench into their plans, but I didn't take his name off the list.
Right. Yeah. So okay, well, you're off the options. And then there's Armie Hammer. I don't know who he is. He looks familiar, but I don't remember. Now he looks like a Hal Jordan.
He does.
I think he fits. I think he fits it. But I don't. He was in Call Me by Your Name. The Man from Uncle, House Hammer, The Social Network. I guess. Okay. He wasn't in a lot of major movies. Mirror, I
He
guess.
may be
I
too
don't know.
young. He may be a
Um,
little too young. I
I feel
don't
like
know.
well, in this picture, he looks like a Hal Jordan to me.
Oh, he
I feel like he fits it.
absolutely does.
Yeah, doesn't he?
But I don't know what age they want these guys to be. That's my question. We don't know, right? They're just throwing out options. But he is the most Hal Jordan looking of them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So far on this list that we've gotten, the next one is John Krasinski. I actually like John Krasinski. I think he is a good actor. He does it. He came out a couple of I think it was a couple of years ago where he told people that he doesn't take baths every day. That's a little strange to me. But you do your thing.
Hey, you hit all the right parts. Then I
Uh,
mean, I ain't getting that close, so
right.
I'm fine
So,
with it.
but I like John Krasinski. He is in a lot of different movies that I enjoyed him in. He was in what was that movie? The Quiet Place or A Quiet Place. He was in both A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Phenomenal. He was in Jack Ryan. He was in The Office, which he's most famous for. He was also in
Right.
Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. So he's not foreign to superhero movies. So, but he's
Right.
most notably
He
named
played
for
Reed Richards, right?
right,
Which he was
exactly.
really
Yeah,
good at.
he was very good at it. So I think he would do a good job as a Hal Jordan. I don't know if he has the exact look for a Hal Jordan, but at least according to the comics, if because how they are, they want things comic book
Right.
accurate, but they probably
But
won't make a big deal because he's
Well, all they have to do is lighten up his hair a little bit. Other than that,
yeah. Then we have Owen Wilson. I like Owen Wilson. I think he's funny. He was in The Wedding Crashers. He was in Zoolander. He was even in Loki. If you guys remember him in Loki, he played one of the security agents for the what was it, the Time Agency or whatever.
Time Bureau.
Thank you. The Bureau of Time or whatever. And so
He can
I don't
play
know.
that cocky stuff very well. If you saw him in what was that movie? The Wedding something.
The Wedding Crashers.
Oh no, Meet the Fockers.
Oh,
He was in
okay.
that, and he was hilarious in that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his, to be quite honest, but I think he could do a good job.
Yeah. I just think that he's a little too old to play him.
Yeah,
So,
see,
I don't
but
know.
then again, we don't know where the age is where he should be, because if he is in one of the first Green Lanterns, he should be older than John Stewart.
Right.
So I don't know. We don't know. And if they get John Stewart when he's there, he's supposed to. John is well in his 30s or early 40s when he becomes the Lantern. So that means Hal should be older than that. So I don't know.
He should be. Yeah, he should be. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. So, but yeah. So the last but not least for Hal Jordan is Mark Wahlberg. Now, I can see Mark Wahlberg as the Green Lantern for at least Hal Jordan. Of course, they can lighten up his hair. He's not foreign to action films. He also played. Is it him that plays what's his name in for DC? Am I thinking of No, I'm thinking of what's his name? What is his name? The wrestler that plays
The Rock. Oh,
no,
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker,
John Cena.
John Cena, thank you. Yeah, so that's not John Cena, but yeah, that's him. But he's Mark Wahlberg was in Transformers. He was in a lot of different action with Shooter. So he's not foreign to action films. So Planet of the Apes, he was in.
And then this would be a True Detectives type of series. So that means a lot of drama, murder mystery type of thing. It could, yeah.
Michaela said, "Okay, I'm good with old Mark."
Yeah, and it'd be HBO, and he's older too, so he would be, I think, the right age to play Hal.
Yeah. So we have some good options. I think I would be interested to see
who's your top two.
My top two, to be quite honest with you, I'm gonna say, and I don't even know how he acts, but I'm gonna say Armie Hammer, only because he looks like a Hal Jordan. Just based off of the comics and all of the cartoons that I've seen, he looks like a Hal Jordan. So to me, I think that he would make a really good one. I also am a huge fan of John Krasinski, and I have a snow cricket crush on him. So like he's one of the few Caucasian men that I really really love. So I think he's a great actor. So I really enjoy his acting prowess. So those are really and Mark Wahlberg, excuse me.
Yeah.
Would work for me. I think those three rather would be my top 3 picks. So yeah. What are yours?
Mark for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think Owen Wilson.
Okay.
And then the guy who literally looks like the cartoon.
You talking about Armie Hammer?
Yes.
This one? Yeah.
He would be my 3rd pick.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move over to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart
would be their partners.
Right. So Jon Stewart is kind of the black the latest iteration of the Green Lantern for the Earth, the Guardian of the Earth. And so first up is Trevante Rhodes. Now, Trevante, my God, on today. Whew. Michaela, I need a mop. Can I get a mop on aisle 4? Thank you so much. But Trevante Rhodes is absolutely stunning, and I think that whoever is going to
age
play,
appropriate.
He's age appropriate. He looks like him, and he has the muscles for him. He has the build, and he's a good actor too. And I think that whoever is going to play Jon Stewart needs to have a really deep voice. He needs to have a swag. He needs to be militant looking. And I think that Trevante Rhodes would be, high up there on the list of who can play Jon Stewart. And he's not bad looking. Look at him. My God, on today. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, he could pass.
Yeah, definitely. And then we also have Michael B. Jordan, also not foreign to what do you call it? Military.
Thriller.
Like he played Killmonger for Black Panther. He was great in that. I think he was also in Creed. So he has the build as well. I think personally, I think he's a little too boy next door for me. I need somebody a little bit more, rougher looking for Jon Stewart. I need more.
Killmonger, he turned it up though. He didn't have boy next door look there.
No, he did not. But what I'm saying is like there's a swag about Jon Stewart that I've always seen. There's this kind of like militant, this kind of like quiet confidence, and I think that Michael B. Jordan is very confident, very obviously. Look at him, but I think there's a good boy vibe to him. She said, "Now I need a mop." Michaela, behave yourself. So, but I wouldn't be mad if he was Jon Stewart. I'm all about.
No, he would do it.
Yeah, he would do a good job. Next up is John Boyega. I can see him being Jon Stewart. However, I don't know.
He really impressed me in the Woman King. I didn't even recognize him for it.
Me either. Yeah, he had a.
I was like, wait, what?
Swag. Yeah, he had a whole. Yeah,
the Star Wars whole thing. So he's clearly a dynamic actor. He can really switch it up. I don't know if he can pull that off, but hey,
we'll see. I mean, we didn't think
talented
that he could
enough.
Yeah, we didn't think that he could play a role like he did in The Woman King. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not hating any of these people thus far. No. I just don't know. Nobody's.
I'm trying to pair them with those guys too. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Oh, Sterling K. Brown. My God. Now, Sterling K. Brown, very handsome, number one. Number two, has the voice, I think, that deep register, the confidence.
Yeah, he's done military pictures and stuff.
Yes, so. And I've also seen him in one of my favorite roles that he's done is in This Is Us. Dynamic actor. I think he could pull the emotion. I think no problem. I just don't know. It really will depend on the age bracket that they're looking for, because I feel like he may play a little too mature, too old. That's just my personal opinion on it. I think that, you know what I'm saying? I think if they get like an Army Hammer for Jon Stewart, for Hal Jordan, then I could see a Trevante Rhodes with him, you know, or a Michael B. Jordan, or even a John Boyega.
Because John is going to be the straight cop, the straight one, and Hal is going to be the funny, wisecracking joke.
Yeah,
getting them into trouble.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be like Bad Boys in a weird way.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Martin Lawrence always plays the straight guy.
Right. Next up, we have Ray Fisher. You know him pretty well, don't you, Dominic?
Done.
You think he's in?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think he's in. No, I'm so sorry.
Good.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't think he's in. I love Ray Fisher. I love him in Rebel Moon. So can we get a mop for Dominic on aisle 5? Thank you so much. So Dominic's boyfriend, Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher. You okay, man? You good? You glowing?
Just smiling.
Oh, I bet you are. But Ray Fisher, I think he did phenomenal as I can't really see anybody else but that plays Cyborg but him. He did a phenomenal job in Cyborg. He also did a phenomenal job, as short as the time was that he was in Rebel Moon. He did a phenomenal job in Rebel Moon. He has not missed. Some people miss when they start out. Some people miss their mark. She said, "Look, I'm running out of mops right now." Get the Swiffer, girl. Get the Swiffer. No, but I don't know if he, in my personal opinion, fits the look, because Jon Stewart is a dark-skinned man, and I would love to see.
Well, he's kind of in the middle. He's medium complected.
But here's why. He's
like really not dark.
Well, no, you talking about Jon Stewart? In every single comic book I've seen, he's been dark-skinned. In every single anime,
medium complected to me. He's been medium complected.
Well, I guess that's
on your interpretation.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just like I saw how I felt about with Storm. I felt like there would even I didn't agree with Halle Berry being Storm. Not because she's not a good actress, it's because we don't see enough representation for our darkest skinned queens. And so for me, I want to see more representation for our darkest skinned kings when it comes to these type of superhero movies, because young boys need to see themselves as well, right? And so there's always a lighter skin, I don't think that he can't do it. I think that
he can do it.
Okay. It's not that I don't think that Ray Fisher can do it. I just don't think that Ray Fisher is the right fit for me, in my personal opinion. But that's here nor there. I think that but he is very clean cut.
Awesome.
I'm sure
he would really be good.
Let's move on.
Really, because part 2 of Rebel Moon, he's going to have a much bigger situation. Anyway,
absolutely. Did we have Christian Keys? And I think Christian Keys is a great actor as well. I just do not think that he is Jon Stewart. He's, for the exact reason, and if not even worse than what I said about Ray Fisher, he definitely is too light skinned for Jon Stewart. Absolutely.
That part doesn't bother me.
It does for me.
There's a difference in between acting skills to me, between him and Ray Fisher. Ray is a better actor. No disrespect to Christian Keys.
No disrespect to you, Christian. I think you're doing great. Beautiful gowns, but I don't think that you fit this particular this role. Okay, all right, let's move on. Love you, Christian. Thank you so much. All right, bye. All right, no. I'm sorry. I love Will Smith, one of the greatest actors out there, male actors out there. Okay,
they have a lot of fan art of him playing Jon Stewart. If you look online, he is a top pick. Honestly, he is.
I don't want him to be. I don't want him to be Jon Stewart.
I don't, because Bad Boys, the franchise is so successful. We've seen him in a buddy cop. He does it very well. Him and Martin have a formula that works.
Oh, it's a
So
fantastic
because of that,
chemistry. Fantastic
yeah,
chemistry.
because of that, when he did Hitchcock, he did a great job
Oh,
in that
Hancock.
Charlize Theron, Hancock.
Yeah, that
With
was a
Charlize
phenomenal movie. I
Theron.
wish they would have moved on.
Really good.
No to the no.
But yeah, just like next, out of
Yeah.
all of them, he's my least favorite, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, now let's talk about that. In my opinion, my top 3 would be, well, at the top of the list is Trevante Rhodes. Like at the end of the day, number 2.
I've seen him in things as well, so I can't disagree.
Yeah, number 2 would be John Boyega. And honestly, believe it or not, even though I said what I said, number 3 would be Ray Fisher. Because he he has the clean cut look for him.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. And it depends on how they want John to be. Remember the animated movie, John was starting out. He was still kind of boy next door in a way.
Yeah.
So Ray could easily do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so could Boyega. He could do it as well.
Michaela says, yes, he can say all bad boys, but this is a no.
Yeah.
Now,
totally agree.
Here's why
Ray is my number 2 though. He would be the second person. This guy here, I agree with you.
I'll let Ray know that how you feel. You think Trevante is number 1?
I do. Yes.
Okay, but here's why I think Trevante. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I alternate. Yeah, I still think that John Boyega.
I do too. No disrespect to him.
To nobody. Not even Michael B. Jordan. I wouldn't be unhappy with any of them except for Keys. Yeah. But I picked Ray Fisher over Michael B. Jordan only because I feel like Ray Fisher, number 1, I feel like Ray Fisher needs more attention because I think that he's underrated. And number 2, I think that Ray Fisher, just from the comic book, he fits the clean cut look. Like I just feel like he would look really, really good if we want to go there. You know what I'm saying? We want to be all like comic book accurate. But here's why I think Trevante Rhodes would be perfect for this. Darker skinned man. Already we know his acting chops are phenomenal. And he has the body and the build. But there's a grit with him. I feel like we can show, if you remember the last animated Green Lantern movie, there was he came out of the military, he had PTSD, he had I feel like Trevante could play that really, really, really well. And I feel like Trevante would be really, really dope in expressing a troubled, black man that came out of the military.
And he has a degree in architecture.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that about him, that structural design is what John came out of. He came out of the military, got his degree, and was working, for an Air Force Base, which is a huge security, as you know, that's security clearance up the wazoo. So not only smart and with edge, it's like you said, it's multi-layered. John Stewart is.
Yeah, we got to move quickly though, because we spent so much time on it. I'm so sorry. My bad. We got stuck on this. But...
I know it's something because then you have to pair him with whatever white guy we just talked about.
Exactly. Now I think that Trevante and is it Armie Hammer? What's his name? Armie Hammer would be perfect. Trevante and
I agree because one has to be silly and lighthearted. Yeah, and he gives that look of man, let's have fun.
But I also feel like John Krasinski, he can do that too. So I wouldn't be mad at either one.
That too.
Yeah. But anyway, that was our picks. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments if you're watching on the replay. I would love to hear what you guys' picks are. But let's get into Picard's ending looming over Star Trek Discovery. So as you guys know, Star Trek Picard Season 3 delivered a poignant and beloved series finale, meaning Star Trek Discovery's upcoming finale has a lot to live up to. Ending Star Trek Discovery with its 5th season, can it match Picard's high standard in its series finale? Discovery improves improves promises and intense sci-fi action and emotional character moments for a satisfying series conclusion. Discovery's final season aims to deliver a poignant series finale with no plot threads left dangling, ending an era. Star Trek Discovery Season 5 was not originally meant to be the show's last, but an epilogue was written and shot after principal filming for the series had been completed. Since its somewhat shaky first season, Discovery has steadily gotten better as Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, this queen, I don't even have her on here. But Sonequa Martin Green, who was on here, and the crew of the USS Discovery came into their own with its focus on intense sci-fi action and emotional character moments. Discovery has the potential to deliver a poignant, memorable series finale. When it comes to Discovery's last minute epilogue, Sonequa Martin Green says Discovery's writers, quote, knocked it out of the park, end quote, and made it feel like a true send-off. Star Trek Discovery does not have the benefit of the Next Generation's 35 plus years of nostalgia to bank on for its final season, but the show has introduced some of Star Trek's greatest new characters. Discovery has also delivered some of Star Trek's most fantastic action sequences, and the final season promises no shortage of action. The Picard season 3 finale worked not only because it built on stories from the Next Generation, but also because it offered a glimpse into the future of its characters. With its strong characters and wide open future, Star Trek Discovery has everything in place to end on a high note. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I hope so. And I thought this article was really interesting because it's comparing the send-off of Picard. And we know how connected to Next Generation. Anyone who watched Next Generation really loved the final season of Picard. And they delivered. Every episode was right. It felt like an extra season of Star Trek, Next Generation. So I understand what they're saying. There's not that nostalgic, all those nostalgic moments to build off of, and all that emotion that comes with all of that for a lot of people, because it was a generation thing. Like, you watched it with your father, the people who watched it with other generations of people, and so it became like a family type of series. Discovery is one of a kind. It is the first time we've had a Black woman be the captain, work her way up to captain, and actually take that journey with her. And they went into the future. This was a groundbreaking show. And for that reason, I think it is going to be equally as moving.
I was just recording, and you guys will listen to it on Tuesday for I'd Rather Not podcast. And one of the shows that we used to cover was The Walking Dead on our show. And so we actually kind of went back into roots and talked about that. And one of the questions that Chrissy Champagne asked me was, who was one of my favorite characters on The Walking Dead? And I said Sonequa Martin Green, who played Sasha. She ended up, being killed off and going over to Discovery and becoming. But there was something about Sonequa's performance as Sasha that drew me to her. I've always loved Sonequa Martin Green. I don't know what it is about her. It's the same energy I get when I watch Janelle Monáe act. And it is just, there's a confidence about her. There is a power about her. There is a light about Sonequa Martin Green that just invigorates me and makes me feel happy to be Black. It makes me feel happy to be a part of whatever franchise she's a part of, in this case Star Trek. And she's just done a phenomenal job, and I really, really am proud of what she's done as being the first Black female captain of Star Trek. That's a lot. There's a lot of racism that has happened, and a lot of racist tropes that have been going on with her, a lot of racist slurs that have been and words that have been
the show.
And the show, saying that it was too quote unquote woke for everybody, and it was too, who wants her as a, who just horrible things. It doesn't even matter at this point, but horrible things were said. And she's still showed up with class. She still showed up with, with elegance and grace, and she just really knocked it out of the park. So I'm proud of her, and I'm looking forward. Unfortunately, I'm not happy about the ending of season 5 because I felt like we were just literally getting started on understanding what was going on. We're in the future. This is pushing and progressing Star Trek forward, but whatever. Do your thing. You want to go back in time? That's fine.
7 seasons, a minimum of 7 seasons. I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
But here we are. I think they're going to get movies, actually. There's talk that they may do movies with these characters as well.
Yeah.
And so I don't think this is the actual end of the story, just this chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into Blerd news really, really quickly because we are way past time. So let's make sure we get into Blerd news. So sorry about that, y'all. Thank you guys so much for being patient. I'm gonna crash through this as quickly as possible. First up, not Sony, my apologies, but this is Marvel. So first up, we have Marvel's Brand Windenbaum has provided Brad Windenbaum has provided an update on the upcoming Eyes of Wakanda animated series. As you guys know, we reported last week about what was going on with the cuts and the crap that they were playing over at Marvel and Disney, which pissed me off. Just want to go watch last week's episode. But speaking with Men's Health, Windenbaum, the head of streaming, television, and animation at Marvel Studios, confirmed that Eyes of Wakanda will take place within the MCU's main continuity. Quote, "We're exploring so many amazing avenues on the animated side," he said. Quote, "Eyes of Wakanda, more than any other show, fits right into our sacred MCU timeline continuity. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler is a producer on it. Todd Harris is one of our longtime storyboard artists who directs it. It's about Wakandan history and mythology, and it's really cool. It looks amazing, and it feels like, okay, I'm getting an animated look into the MCU," end quote. After last week's remarks by CEO Roger Iger about making cutbacks, many assumed this project was pushed to the side. We'll be keeping our eyes open, because we deserve more Black Panther. Abso-freaking-lutely. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, this is early in development, and it's really suspect that why are you talking to Men's Health magazine about Eyes of Wakanda? That is the weirdest thing. And it was a sidebar. Like, oh, by the way.
Yeah. Really weird. Really weird. All right. Well, that's that. I still don't trust it. I don't know what's going on. I ever since Roger Iger said what he said last week, I mean, he's the CEO of Disney, and he has the ability to cut things, and so I don't trust it. I'm just right. Exactly. I know you side eyeing too, Michaela. So we'll see how it goes. Next up, let's go over to Sony. And really quickly and talk about some box office. Dominic and I have really talked about a lot of box office flops and a lot of box office successes. We talked last week about how Dune 2 was a huge box office success. But this week, most recently, Ghostbusters actor Ernie Hudson says he only pocketed $370 dollars. $370?
Yes. And it's from the first
from his first big Hollywood paycheck. Nearly 5 decades ago, Ernie Hudson first made his entrance into Hollywood out of the veteran actor's countless film and TV appearances. One of his most widely known roles is Winston Zeddemore in the Ghostbusters franchise. According to IMDb, the first installment of the Ghostbusters film was made over $297 million worldwide. What's more, among the later installments, Ghostbusters 2 grossed over $215 million, and Ghostbusters Afterlife grossed over $204 million, all starring Hudson. Quote, "My first big check was $10,000 for one day's work." Hudson shared in the interview, "I was behind on rent, and I told my landlord that I was waiting for the check to come." However, Hudson was unaware of just how much of his check was going to be distributed among his team. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see. The check came, and we're gonna move quickly on this one. But the during the same interview, Hudson was asked whether or not he would be opposed to there being a digital recreation of his likeness in the next 40 years. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, overall, the reason why this article was trending is pay equality.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, what has changed over the course of 50 years, 5 decades in the business. And how much has he really gotten paid? Has he gotten paid what he's worth? He
Hmm.
is a part of Ghostbusters, not just the white guys that we
Hmm.
always see who got, of course, a whole lot of money. But
Yeah.
the distribution, they get 10 grand and they get divvied up amongst your manager and agents and business manager and this person and taxes and da 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 da. And all you have left is $370.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully he's getting paid better now. Hopefully he has better management representation, and
Hmm.
he's, I hope, more than made up for the past. But it
Yeah.
shows you what actors and black actors are constantly going through. Taraji talked about it, Monique talked about it, right? And so now
Yeah.
here's the first glimpse at a black man talking about how underpaid he was in a film that grossed altogether. This franchise is like $1 billion franchise.
She said, "Pay that man." All right. Well, that's gonna do it for right. Exactly. That's gonna do it for Blerd News, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about and ask the question: who is Jon Stewart? We'll be right back, y'all.
Catch the electrifying sounds of Bullet in Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bullet in Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bullet in Flight Radio.
And we're back, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, make sure you guys hit that like button, share, and subscribe. It does help the algorithm, and you can be a maverick just like us. So we appreciate you guys and all that you do. And if you know any other blerds or nerds, have them come over to Pyro Media Network. And if you're listening,
Bullet in Flight.
Or Bullet in Flight. And if you're listening on Bullet in Flight Radio, hey pilots, thank you guys for joining. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys go ahead and tune in over on Pyro Media Network's YouTube page, and you can go ahead and watch all of the shows on there, and you can listen to it directly on Bullet in Flight as well. So definitely check it out on Pyro Media Tuesdays. Shout out to them. All right, let's go ahead and get into some things, y'all. You guys know, like I said, we talked about the our series that we've been doing called the Black Influencer series, and it had all different types of Black influencers, and I just put the link back in there if you guys want to check it out on at your leisure. But we have a Black superhero series. And the first one we talked about Calvin Harris, which is the Black Superman of Earth 23. And last week we talked about Aurora Monroe, who is better known as Storm, the African queen that she is, one of my favorite superheroes on the Marvel side. But today, as we go through all of these Black superheroes that are sometimes underrated and sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time underrated, and also not really talked about, we want to deep dive into all of these things. But today, we're going to continue on with our Black superhero series and introduce you guys to some and talk about and reintroduce you to others. Who is John Stewart? And without further ado, take it away, sir.
Absolutely. So, as you said, who is John Stewart? So, let me tell you all, DC traditionalists were shocked when John Stewart's Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan, made it into the TV debut on the Cartoon Network's The Justice League. So, John Stewart was created back in 1971. This character's appearances in comic books was very sparse until 1984. In 1984, he joined the sequel of series called Green Lantern from 1984 to 1986. With that, his stoic nature carried over from comic books into now the new Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animated series, where he became a household name. He was the first superhero not to have black as a part of his superhero name as well. John represented a strong black presence, sorely missed in the superhero space. He served as a source of strength for myself and was a significant player in many episodes of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. He was an absolute regular. It was nice to see him, and he really stepped outside of the stereotype of what they considered a black man to be. So here is a little bit more about Mr. Stewart. He was born in my hometown, Detroit, Michigan, where he lived, unfortunately, in poverty, and he clashed with the police, which a lot of folks did. His mother was a community organizer, a lot like President Obama, I guess. And she tried to make things better, and that really inspired John to also make the world a better place. So he had a little sister named Eleanor, who unfortunately died when they were children. But as John went through school, he leaned more and more towards wanting to join the military. So he did. He became a Marine. He joined the Marine Corps. So after he did that, he, of course, excelled in combat training and was a talented marksman as well. He soon got promoted to a sergeant within the Marine Corps. And I think he got deployed. He got deployed to Gotham City to evacuate civilians during some type of crazy crisis. And so that was his first kind of brush with the whole superhero world. Wanting to build a better world, of course, he came back home after going on multiple deployments while being in the Marine Corps, and he settled in California. He studied architecture in San Diego, and he earned his degree. Right after that, he got hired for a project at Ferris Air, and that is an Air Force base, the same Air Force base that Hal Jordan mysteriously disappeared from just a few years earlier. Since a very early age, this is very interesting. The Guardians of the Universe, all of those Guardians on oil, have been keeping a eye on him because of his heart and the special abilities that he would soon possess. So what they did is they tested him while he was working at Ferris Air Force Base and sent a manhunter after him, which sounds absolutely insane. John didn't hesitate to spring into action and destroy the manhunter without a ring.
Without a ring.
And because of his bravery, and if you know what a manhunter is, they are very difficult for the Green Lantern Corps to take down with rings. And he was able to do that without one. And so because of that, a ring came from Oa and he became the first Black Green Lantern. And so his powers were very different than Hal Jordan's. He was able to do a lot more. He ascended physiologically. He was able to absorb energy. It gave him superhuman strength. He was invulnerable. Of course, he could fly just like Hal. He had, what is this? Emotional electromagnetic
spectrum manipulation, has the ability to
There you
channel
go,
the
like-
power of will without the need of a ring. That's dope.
without the need of a ring, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. Wow. Of course, he could construct energy constructs like everyone else, but his was super complicated. He had energy projection, cosmic awareness, meaning he could tell and sense things that were going on in the whole galaxy if he was far away. So that was like he developed some type of force. Size alteration he could teleport, reality alterations, and self-sustainment. So those are the most notable powers and abilities that he can use with and without the ring, because he is connected to the power source of the Green Lantern Corps of Hope. So that wraps up pretty much everything that you need to know about John. Hopefully the new HBO series will reflect. We wanted to focus on John more so than Hal.
And
Hal
shout out.
is-
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dominic.
No, Hal is just not as complex in his abilities. He's super smart, but this guy is an engineer, and he thinks and he puts all of that into his abilities, which is really cool.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody that's joining in on Twitter, aka X. Shout out to everybody that's coming on here. But one of the cool things, and one of the reasons why I feel, excuse me, I'm so sorry. One of the reasons that I feel, and I'm sure Dominic will agree, is why John Stewart is arguably the most powerful Green Lantern ever. It's because of that ingenuity that he has, the fact that he was an engineer, and that he's able to, because the constructs that you have to create with the ring takes a tremendous amount of willpower, and it takes a tremendous amount of focus. So if he knows how things work, if he knows how things are supposed to be built, that makes more complex structures that he can create with the power of his ring. Now, what's dope is emotional electromagnetic spectrum manipulation with the ability to create or channel the power of will without the need of a ring is also super dope. I haven't heard of a Green Lantern that's been able to do that without a ring. Once they lose their ring, they're powerless.
Sounds very Star Wars.
Yeah,
like with the power of the Force.
Yeah.
So that is something that is completely unique to him.
Yeah, which arguably
the cosmic awareness too.
Yeah, and which arguably makes him the strongest Green Lantern in our personal opinion. So, but shout out to John Stewart, because I know a lot of people know about the Green Lantern, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern, but I'm starting to see especially within the past couple of years, more just desserts and just due and flowers are being given to John Stewart, the Green Lantern.
And he connects the military community in a special way. So
so shout out to
all the Marines.
Exactly. So shout out to everybody who are John Stewart fans, and shout out to you, Dominic. Thank you so much for bringing us more awareness of our Black superheroes. And shout out to all of you guys for tuning on in. We appreciate you guys. You got anything else before we go?
No, just one simple stay unusual. And we just celebrated our 50th episode. That's something to think about.
Woohoo! Yes, so shout out to Dominic and I. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate
to come
you
up
guys.
with a special treat for everybody.
Yeah. Maybe we can start our podcast. We've been so busy. We've been trying our best to do the audio podcast.
Yeah.
But
we'll give you guys like a montage or something. That'll be nice too.
Yes, that'll be dope. All right, you guys. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. But until then, stay blessed, stay cool, and stay unusual. Peace, y'all.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.